What the... Here we go. I've been lucky enough to spend 6 of the last 8 years living abroad. When I visit home, I'm fascinated by my inability to predict what will and won't have changed. The number of changes I saw during my most recent visit was particularly confusing. Now I want to talk about something I had never noticed before, but slapped me repeatedly round the face when I came home for a wedding a few months ago. Maybe you've seen some similar things in your life. I think a short story will help set the scene. I've spent more hours than I care to remember in airports across Asia and Europe. There are 2 things I've only ever seen in England. First, Norwich Airport, Norfolk. This airport greets you with a clean, fully staffed, wonderfully queue-free check-in desk, but refuses to issue boarding passes. The job of the check-in desk staff, it would seem, is to watch people struggle with the self-service machine and make sure no one tries to make off with it. The next obstacle Norwich Airport expects you to tackle is quickly presented by security. Should you choose to accept the challenge, which you will, because you have to, is the turnstile. At this point, you are forced to part with £10 per person on top of the ticket price. It's signed as an airport development fee, but I feel it's a typo and should read wallet development fee. It's hard not to feel you're being fleeced at this point. Money literally stolen from your pocket simply because they have you over a barrel. What's the alternative? Walk away and refuse to go on holiday? Watch your children cry as they head back to the car park dragging their trunky behind them? Explaining to your wife that actually you'll be spending the week off in Great Yarmouth and not Crete, in a caravan and not the all-inclusive hotel she expected. The second exclusively English airport wallet grab is smaller yet somehow more irksome. Getting off the plane at Manchester Airport, tired and sweaty from a 29-hour journey, I aim my still half-asleep legs towards baggage claim. I haven't been home for more than 2 years. I have 2 very large bags with everything I'll need for a month's stay. I go to get a trolley from the conveniently placed stack, but I'm halted by a large yellow sign informing me that an unrefundable £1 coin is needed to release this simple item. And no, you don't get to keep the trolley. I had no English money. I had Chinese yuan, American dollars, Thai baht and Cambodian riel, even some taka from Bangladesh. But no, only English pound or euro will do. So I humped my bags onto my shoulders. For me it was unwanted and uncomfortable at the end of a long journey. Imagine how a family would feel. 5 bags, tired kids, first time in the UK, heading out into the dark car park, herding children and struggling under the weight of suitcases. It would be a nightmare, attempting to find a taxi driver with the patience to listen while you give directions in a second language. Welcome to the UK, it should read under that yellow sign. Ripped off in Britain. The airports are just one small example, but it represents what I see all over England several times a day. Ordinary people being unnecessarily squeezed. It's the disturbing result of greed. Business leaders, government officials and institutions understanding the English mentality to incessantly moan under our breath, but get on with it anyway. It's happening everywhere, and it's been going on for a long time. How many of us can remember when petrol stations had attendants who would pump fuel on our behalf? How many cared when we lost it? It may sound like a big leap from £1 luggage trolleys, but it's where it starts. Taking away services and conveniences without uproar has given big business the confidence to up the ante now. Would those extra salaries really bring down the company? I don't think so. Shell, for example, has 550 petrol stations in the UK. 24-hour cover using 4 people would cost around £52,000. For all 550 stations, somewhere in the region of 29 million. I know, 29 million is a lot of money, but it's also 2,200 jobs. Assuming those people were unemployed, it would save the government over £8 million. What about the cost to Shell? Despite a reported fall in profits, in the second quarter of this year, Shell made between $0.8 and $1 billion. When a company talks in billions per quarter, suddenly 29 million a year starts to feel more affordable. Factor in the millions paid to a few top executives and it starts to feel reasonable. When you get down to the numbers, you realise it's not about affordability. It's greed, plain and simple. Extra staff could easily be employed providing more jobs and a better service with no severe consequence to the bottom line. But several top-end guys would lose a few thousand in bonuses and shareholders would get a fraction smaller dividend, so it won't happen. My point is not one of accounting or business. It's moral and ethical, having the single objective of making as much money as possible while disregarding everything else is abhorrent and should be seen as incongruous. Sometimes rip-offs are more subtle. Self-service checkouts have proliferated. A few years ago, there was a small area consisting of maybe 4 machines. These could be useful if you are buying 1 or 2 items at a busy time of day. Now there are up to 10 in a bay, and self-service lanes complete with conveyor belts have popped up. This is not for convenience, it's a money saver. The number of staff needed has clearly dropped. In a number of supermarkets, staffed tills have halved. I would be confident in guessing that the average time taken per transaction has not dropped. Almost every time I've used them, or watched someone in front of me use them, I've seen a mistake or error that caused the attendant to be signalled. As there is only 1 member of staff per bank of tills, and everyone is having the same problem, you end up waiting. Has this cost saving on the part of the business translated into a better customer experience? I don't think so. Has it been converted into a discount for shoppers? No. You pay the same price if you're using the staffed tills as the non-staffed, and no one questions it. You pay less at a self-service car wash, less if you use self-service at a laundry, food takeaway, or even holiday. In every other area, if you do some of the work, you pay less. But in English supermarkets, you do more and pay the same. And we accept it. Why? Even technology is getting in on the act. I was in a town centre car park. First off, I was stunned by the price of parking. After the experiences previously discussed, I took it in my stride. Then I saw 2 things together that made me steam from the ears like a cartoon character. £2.40, no change given. I would ask why you would make a price requiring a specific amount of change and then not offer change, but I think it's obvious. I only had notes in my wallet and was not prepared to pay £5. I was about to walk away when I noticed a sticker on the side of the machine saying you could pay via app. I sat down in my car, downloaded the app, entered my personal details, finally got to the stage where I could book my space for the next 2 hours, only to find you are charged a fee for using the service. Now this one really got to me. In my mind, I could see so clearly the conversation between the local council and the golf club member friend who came up with the idea. I could give you many more areas of English life where this is happening. I had originally planned to rant about all of them, but instead I'll leave it there. You can probably think of many more yourself. If we all start noticing the small things around us, acting together, raising awareness, we have a chance to change it. If we boycott the self-service checkouts, use the booth at the train station where a real person is employed, refuse to pay unnecessary and ridiculous fees even if it inconveniences us for a few minutes, we can force a change in practices. Use the option that costs the business and not you. Profit-driven businesses are quick to respond to changes in culture. Drive them, don't let them drive us. It's our money, make them earn it. And remember, every pound you spend is a vote.